we don't need roads.
Guys, I love this movie so much, and it makes my job so much easier whenever I love it. So seriously, thank you for making
Thank
such.
you.
Like, I just ugly cried. I just ugly cried in the final act.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
us
jump into
too.
it. Yeah, I'd imagine. I would imagine that final act for you guys is unbelievable. I was wondering if you could take me to the moment that you saw Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson on set for the first time. I'm genuinely curious what that experience was like for you guys. Were they telling stories? Were they cracking jokes? Like, what was just the vibe whenever they walked onto the set?
Well, it's funny. It was like four brothers. Like it was like Ivan, Ernie, Bill, and Dan. They were like, it was like a bunch of brothers like coming back together. It was really sweet. Like Ivan telling stories to them, saying, "Hey Billy, remember this?" Like he calls Bill Murray Billy, which is really funny.
I really liked that like each of us had like a one-on-one experience with like each of them, which I thought was really cool because that's something that happens in the film. Like we all get our moment with like.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
totally.
like we all kind of got to like meet them and talk to them and just like I don't know. I took a picture with Bill Murray and he just like picked me up like this and I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
So it was
amazing.
It was really special.
Yeah, it didn't really feel real, but it was incredibly special.
Whenever I saw them, I just kind of thought like I never thought in my entire life I'd ever see this moment on the big screen again. So I really appreciate you guys making it happen. Finn, obviously the boys from Stranger Things are big Ghostbusters fans and they dressed up like them for Halloween. And at this point in life, Mike would be a grown man by the time this movie comes out in theaters. What do you think Mike, as a grown man, would think of this film?
Oh, it's a great question. I think he'd love it. I think it's like such a faithful sequel. I think like it really it has the exact same vibe as the original, but also it has a fresh take. And I think it would make Ghostbusters fans really happy.
For sure. And McKenna, one of the things I love about this movie is it really is such a beautiful tribute to Harold Ramis, who I was such a big fan of. And your character in particular, such a lovingly written tribute to reflect him. What did you pick up on from his performances in the first two films that maybe you brought over to your own performance?
He had like such a specific idea for the character. Like I in the beginning I would come in and I kind of like carry this into other projects I do now, but I always rehearse my lines like really hard because I want to make sure that I have them. I get the performance down. But then he was like, no, I want you to come in like knowing your lines and that's it. Like don't come in like having a performance already. And so like every day I would come in and just do it completely for the first time.
Well, it's really smart because I think like on the first take you would be really flat because your character is like very and then slowly as the day goes on you get a little more animated and you get this perfect amount of like McKenna mixed with Phoebe, you know what I mean? And that was what was like amazing to watch.
Yeah, and I mean there's no one better to like help you with that than Jason Reitman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. I'm excited. I'm talking with him next. He's unbelievable. I love how much nostalgia has really kind of become sort of popular within pop culture. Things I loved as a kid that I grew up with are coming back. What is something that you guys have grown up with now that's popular right now that you think will return in nostalgia form in 20 to 30 years?
That's a great question. I'm trying to think. Like,
Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things, yeah. Stranger Things in...
Stranger Things Season 4.
Exactly. I'm trying to think. That will come back. I mean... I don't know. I feel like those like Fast and Furious movies will always be a thing.
Well, they're not gonna come back. They're just gonna keep
going.
They're
just going.
gonna keep going. Family. I've never seen those, but
Family.
I just know the memes.
Yeah.
I think like even something like Marvel, I guess it would have to go away, but like is Marvel going to be a thing that we're nostalgic for?
Oh, that's a good
question.
question. Yeah, but I guess because I guess they're starting a new MCU. Yeah, I think
They are?
Well, I mean, like since Endgame or whatever, they're new characters is what I mean. Okay, it's been up for years. What's it called? No, yeah, maybe. I think superhero movies will always have. I hope to me like what makes superhero movies interesting sometimes is when they're have a fresh take on them. That's why I think Ghostbusters is great. It had a fresh take. I think Spider-Verse was amazing because it had a fresh take.
And I think that it'll be really cool because I feel like the movies that like we go back and we watch are all like Ghostbusters and like these really cool like older films. But then like I feel like our kids are gonna have like go back and watch films like are they gonna go back and watch films like Lady Bird or like
what are our
what's gonna be the classics?
What's gonna be our classics? Is a really good question.
Afterlife.
Yeah,
I feel like we just ripped open like a whole big conversation we could have right as we're giving you a wrap.
This is a new conversation.
This is great. I try to throw some questions at you. Hopefully, I know you've been doing a ton of press, so seriously, thank you for being such a great interview. Thank you for making such a great movie, and I really do love you guys, and this movie meant a lot to me, so I really do appreciate it.
Tell Jason that we say hi.
Yeah. Okay, I will.
Tell him that McKenna says hi and that Finn.
My good friend McKenna says hello. Finn says whatever.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Guys, so good to see you both again. I love this movie so much.
Thank you, Jake. It's good to see you.
I'm going to jump into this because I have 1,000 questions for you guys. I was wondering if you could go back to when you first watched Ghostbusters for the very first time and tell yourself as a kid, one day, you're not only going to be in a movie with those guys, you're going to be in a movie where they're playing their original characters. What would kid you have said?
You're full of crap. My little kid me never would believe that. Never.
I would have freaked out that I would have learned that I was going to be in a movie at all.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? And that it would be with these guys and in this movie, it would have been too much to even process.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I tell anyone about this movie, oftentimes their first question is always, are the original guys coming back? So I'm curious, as actors, when you're approached about this film, when this film is pitched to you, how long in the process does it take for you to ask someone are we getting the guys back?
You know, I was told that I was invited in to read a secret script, so I didn't know what it had to do with. But so then I sat in this room and I read it. So by the time I got to the end, I knew. And I knew what I was taking on if I said yes. So it was really, it was a wonderful surprise to know that, I don't know how you continue the franchise without them, you know? The way that Jason's done it is the perfect way. And it's made with such love because he was so much a part of that original film.
I remember when Jason sent me the script, and the only thing I thought was, oh wow, this is the perfect way to tell this specific story. And so this specific story certainly works with everybody involved. But I just kind of was knocked out by the story in and of itself. I was really thought it was interesting that it was Ivan Reitman's son who had written it and was directing it, and that there was this lineage. It all just kind of made sense in every category, both in the story, with the characters, and with the filmmakers. So the whole thing kind of was interesting to me in that regard when I read it for the very first time.
And what's cool is it works even without that last act, and you get to the last act, and obviously that's just incredible. I was always taught in journalism school to be professional and don't geek out, don't be a fanboy about this stuff. But I love Ghostbusters, and I think being a fan of this series and a fan of you guys makes me better at my job. So I'm sort of curious, what impact does fandom have on acting? If you're a fan of the series you're working on, whether it's Ghostbusters or Marvel, how does that affect you as an actor?
Oh, I think it just enhances the gift of it. I mean, it's all a gift. To get to do this at all is such a remarkable invitation. And so, I don't know, Paul Rudd's had a remarkable life in this business. He could probably speak to this more cogently than I can. But it was also really beautiful to see even McKenna had dressed up as a Ghostbuster a couple years before, and now she's part of the franchise. And so to know that we're inspiring a whole new generation to be fans of Ghostbusters is really exciting. But Paul, you can speak to that more.
Well, I think that whenever you're working on anything, and Carrie would say the same, I'm sure, is that you're just kind of in the reality of the world, and so you're not trying to think about what's so kind of fandom worthy about all of it. Otherwise, you'll kind of spin out. But it is inevitable at certain moments, when you're sitting there on set and you think, oh my God, there's a proton pack, there's a ghost trap, or there's Captain America's shield, the actual one, and there's Thor's hammer, and when you're kind of surrounded by this stuff, it's impossible not to get a little caught up in it and get excited. And when you're excited and really enjoying what it is that you're doing, maybe some of that excitement comes through, but it certainly exists when you work on it. It certainly existed for me on this because I was kind of giddy all the way through.
I love that. Well, that makes me feel better to hear. As we wrap up really quickly, I love that Jason has gotten to sort of the chance, the opportunity to continue his father's story. One day, if one of your kids wanted to make a sequel to one of your projects, which one do you think you'd be interested in seeing them take on?
That's really funny to me because all my stuff's so dark. I don't know if I'd wish that on my children.
They're going to keep the leftovers going?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if they can, what their contribution is to the apocalypse.
Paul, what about you?
My kids have other interests.
Fair enough, guys. Seriously, this movie meant a lot to me, man. I was ugly crying during that final act, and I never imagined this movie would ever exist. I love both of you guys so much. Carrie, obviously, Chicago loves you guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's so good to see you all, and hopefully we're all in person the next time we get to chat.
We look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Good. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.